United! We stand! United! We stand! United! We stand! United! The people will never be defeated! United! The people will never be defeated! This is unfair. This is not the American way. This is not why I put you in office.
We've got one more speaker before we start.
Get on down here, grab a pen, and sign the petition.
But you know what's behind a union? People are behind unions. It's not this unnamed entity. These are people. This is you. This is your United States. This is your Wisconsin. Take it back.
We're standing here live in front of the City Hall in Waupaca, Wisconsin. We have a couple people here we're going to talk to at the rally. My name is Harley Altenberg. I'm from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Would you care to give your names at all?
Sure. I'm Susan Johnson.
Thomas Johnson.
What brings you two down here tonight?
This hurts. This hurts a lot. And it's not just the union busting, it's the entire bill that he's proposed is gutting Wisconsin. And I can't stand back and not say anything about it.
Okay, what's your perspective, sir?
Well, I'm a lawyer. I own my own business. I'm not in a union, but I think that it's an overreach. We do have a budget crisis, but the governor is taking advantage of the crisis to accomplish the right-wing agenda that the Republican Party has had for 20 years. And I've been a Republican since 1971. When I was a senior in high school, I carried a card for the Republican Party. I've been the chairman of the Republican Party in Ashland County and Republican Party, but this Republican Party has gone to a place where I'm no longer comfortable. They have abandoned the principles that they used to stand for, and I'm terrified at the prospect of eliminating unions.
Was it this bill that pushed you out of the Republican Party?
I stopped being a Republican about a year ago, but I couldn't join the Democratic Party until last week. It was this bill that made me send my dues to the Waupaca County Democratic Party.
So what is the most hurtful part about this bill?
It hurts teachers, it hurts schools, it hurts children. It hurts our environment. There's too many aspects of it to even enumerate them all of the damage it's going to do to the state. We're selling our souls to corporations, and it's not difficult to see that every Republican is stepping in line with some big corporation who's handing them money, and the only things left for the Democrats are the unions to support them in campaigns. So we've got to have them, or we don't have a two-party system anymore.
And one thing to say about it is that a lot of the Republican agenda has not been financially related, like voter ID and concealed carry. I mean, it's the same old agenda we've seen. It has nothing to do with saving money. If they really wanted to cut spending, for example, in the budget, I'm a criminal defense attorney. They have eliminated early release from prisons for nonviolent offenders. It costs $30,000 a year to keep someone in prison. If you're short on money, let them out. But no, they won't do it. That's a lot of money to keep nonviolent people locked up. Mike.
Hey!
UWSP alumni.
Look at that. Outstanding. Cool.
I am an AFSCME staff representative for Portage County, Stevens Point, and several other counties in the middle of the state.
What brings you to Waupaca tonight?
I represent Waupaca as well, and Luther Olson is a Republican senator who should be voting against this bill, and we are simply here as citizens telling him, look, you're supposed to listen to your constituents. Your constituents are telling you to vote no, and it's not a close call. Most of your constituents hate this bill because it's wrong. So that's why we're here.
What makes this bill so wrong?
It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. It pretends to be a budget bill. It's not a budget bill. It's partly a budget bill. The employees are now agreeing to pay 5.8% of the Wisconsin retirement system share, the employee share, and good to see you. And so they've given the economic concessions that he demanded. He put in a ton of things in the bill that simply strip away union rights, and they have nothing to do with economics. In fact, there are hundreds and hundreds of administrators and government managers of cities and counties who have signed letters and petitions saying, we never asked for this, we don't want this, this is going to cause disruption and disharmony between the employer and the employees. We were getting along fine without Walker meddling in our business. Stay out of our business. One of the best things I do for people is when they're improperly disciplined or fired, and usually it's a termination or a suspension, something serious. And if the union analyzes it and it's wrong, we fight for that person. And usually when somebody's fired, we don't fight because employers have a right to fire people for just cause. I mean, that's their right, and we don't try to impede that right. But when they mess it up and when they unfairly fire somebody with your tax dollars, we go fight for that person. And about once a year, I get a termination reversed through the grievance process of the contracts. He is going to strip them of that right. He is going to put something in place called the Civil Service Act, which is a piece of trash. It's a lie that pretends to be a grievance process, but it's not. Because ultimately, if I fight for somebody under the Civil Service Act and I win, the employer can appeal it. And the employer only appeals it to itself. And obviously, if it thought enough of its position to appeal it, it's going to agree with its appeal. It's rubbish. And Scott Walker is spouting this throughout the state, saying this is substantive compromise by the GOP, and it's not. It's a lie. The law is designed to make sure there are no unions. I mean, it demands annual recertifications of the unions, which is ridiculous. It demands that a majority of all employees have to vote for the union, even if they don't show up. The governor's race doesn't even do that. Half the people in Wisconsin don't have to vote for the governor to have the governor elected. It's half the people who vote. So there are all kinds of things in the bill. It prohibits employers from collecting dues. All that means is Walker wants to make it virtually impossible for unions to exist. He does not want to hear the people. He had trouble with the unions in Milwaukee County. He doesn't like being talked back to. He will not tolerate it, and that's why he's crushing opposition.
Proponents of the bill would say that people have actually already voiced their opinion. They've already decided through the elections in November. What's your response to that?
Great question, because Walker has also spouted the lie, and it's a lie. You call it for what it is. He says, gosh, you guys shouldn't be surprised that I'm stripping you of your rights because I campaigned on this. That's dishonest, folks. He campaigned on greater contributions for retirement. He campaigned on greater contributions for health insurance. Fine, he can take those. He never said a word about, hey, I'm going to take your rights away. I'm going to strip you of everything you've worked for as a union. I'm taking that away. He has told the people, he has the audacity to tell the people, I campaigned on that. It's a lie, folks. It's just an outright lie.
Okay, so some words for the people, not necessarily the politicians, not necessarily like what we call like the tea baggers, but like civilians like you and I who are proponent for this bill. What words do you have for them to enlighten them on this matter?
Well, that's a good question. If you have an inclination to support this bill, consider this. Unions built the middle class. For decades now, the rich in this country have just been getting richer. They are taking most of the money. They are the ones making progress. It's not the middle class, folks. And when union wages go down, everybody's wages go down because employers who don't have unions now aren't forced to compete on a meaningful level with employers who do have unions. And when governments don't have unions, and they're major employers in our counties, in our municipalities, when the governments have no unions, that simply means that the private employers no longer have to compete for the quality employee workforce with the employers, and so they can pay lousy wages and benefits. It is a direct link, and everybody should care about this. Just because you don't belong to a union doesn't mean you shouldn't care about this bill. And I would point this out. If Walker will lie to you about what civil service means, if he'll lie to you about what he campaigned on, why on earth would our citizens believe he's telling the truth about anything?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we